As you saw earlier, Trellidor, the 40-year-old Durban-based manufacturer of custom-designed security barrier systems, listed on the JSE today. The chief executive, that is Terry Dennison, joins us to explain the rationale behind this. Terry, thanks so much for joining us. Of course, Chris still stays with us. Rationale for coming into the market at this time? It's been quite volatile. It hasn't been fantastic. Maybe tell us why you've decided to list right now.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, in terms of timing of listing and volatility of the markets, we certainly didn't plan the volatility of the markets, and we embarked on the journey sort of prior the volatility period, but we decided to push through because in terms of Trellidor and where Trellidor is in its history, we felt it was the right time for the business to take the next step and to enter the public arena with the ability to raise capital and build on the platform that we've already created. To wait for the markets to get into a better space for us wasn't a priority. The priority was use the platform that we've created and the timing where the company is in its space to develop further.
Terry, you're preaching to the converted when it comes to Trellidor. I've been a satisfied customer for a number of years now. It's great. But there's a couple of questions I'm asking you. What are you going to do with the proceeds? Presumably we're talking about expansion, both within South Africa and into the rest of the continent. Yes. But secondly, a thought that occurred to me a few years ago, with the upsurge in, I hate to use the term load shedding, but rolling blackouts, does physical security really start coming into its own now? Because it's all very well to have the thin wires, but if you haven't got any electricity, you know, that's really not much of a deterrent to thieves. So I don't know if you'd care to address those.
Yeah, it's certainly in terms of load shedding, our products, generally speaking, don't require power, and so yes, they work when power is off, and it does raise the profile. But in terms of, is that a really big change in the market? I wouldn't say so. I think it's important for layers of security to be in place. You know, barriers need to be there to prevent access, and electronics need to be there to alert response and residents and so on. So they both have a place. But yes, it certainly has raised the profile, but I wouldn't say it's a game changer as such.
Terry, of course, there's been a lot of excitement around this listing. Chris has already said you're preaching to the converted. Everybody said, you know, you really, this is a growth area definitely for the South African market. Anthony Clark is one of the analysts that has definitely been following Trellidor. In one of his previous interviews, he mentioned that there was something that was concerning him. So we're going to try and get that answer for him from you. He mentioned that if you look at the fact that the sellers, they're selling about 49% of the stock. So there's the sellers plus the founder and a consortium. Why would they be selling such a huge amount, given the fact that there is such a big investment case for this particular company?
Yeah, the majority shareholders at the time are a private equity fund who've been invested for 8-9 years now. So it was time for them to dissolve the fund effectively. It had reached end of life, and so there was an opportunity for a partial sellout, because they've certainly retained a substantial shareholding, which has been distributed in specie to the underlying shareholders of the fund itself, which gives us quite a nice spread of shareholders. So in terms of the fund selling down, it was really end of life of the fund itself. And in terms of Trellidor, we then had to make a decision: where do we go from here? The public arena for us gives the company continuity. The business has a great ability of generating cash, so we could go back into the private equity space and pay down gearing. But in terms of continuity and the ability to grow going forward, we took the decision to enter the public arena and give the business the platform to raise capital as and when needed. And I didn't answer your earlier question on the capital raise, and maybe I'll cover that now. We've raised a small amount of capital, which is also a question I've been asked quite a lot. Why such a small amount? And the reason for that is we don't need a large amount initially. We've got our strategies in place in the next 12 months. we will deploy that capital as well as use cash generated through that period, as well as a bit of gearing for acquisition.
Terry, we're going to have to leave it at that for today, but we'll certainly have you coming into studio again to find out what the progress is and talk about those expansion plans. Congratulations on your listing. That was Trellidor Chief Executive Terry Dennison.